Hey everybody, what's going on? I'm King Sway, and welcome to another edition of RPG Horror Stories. Today we have GM makes two players cry because I didn't roll a natural 20. That's the name of the title, so we about to jump right into this. Here we go. First ever D&D campaign. I was playing a Goblin Cleric. The party happened upon a mansion, so we sent ahead our ranger to do some investigation. She ended up getting in a combat with a vampire, so the rest of the party proceeded towards her. Unbeknownst to the party, the ranger had managed to skip to the final encounter of that dungeon, so to reach her, we basically had to speedrun the whole dungeon. She was quickly killed by the vampire, so it became a race to get to her corpse before 10 turns had expired, so she could be revived. As a cleric, this put a lot of pressure, particularly on me. It took us more than 2 hours to get to the same room as her corpse, but there was a waist-high wall in the way. As a goblin, this was a significant obstacle for me to overcome. We tried to bargain with the GM, but they got angry, shouty, and threatened to stop jamming for us if we tried to tell them what to do. Yeah, red flag right there. In the end, the GM told me to roll a 20 to climb up the wall in time, or the ranger dies. I did not roll a 20. What the heck? No, you can't, no. That's not a trainable skill. As soon as she saw what I rolled, the ranger's PC left the game on the verge of tears. We tried to have a short funeral service afterwards, but one of the other players recently had experienced some death in the family and left the game crying. We ended that session early. And that is the end of the post, so you know you about to hear my mouth about this one. Oh, okay. For one, I get that there was like some level of danger involved. Okay, you had a goblin cleric, but somebody could have helped that goblin cleric over the wall. That was the first thing I'm thinking of. But at the same time, I'm thinking OP said that this was their first campaign, the first D&D campaign. But the way that the DM reacted, like, don't tell me what to do, I'm gonna take my ball and go home. That lets me know they're not open to constructive criticism. Like, they really think that everybody's just gonna have fun doing things their way and only their way. Like, other ways of doing things doesn't factor into things. Which, as I said, was a red flag. I don't know how the ranger got to the end encounter unless the DM really. The way I'm thinking about it is the DM had to finagle some stuff for the ranger to be scouting and just get to the end encounter, because if the party followed the same way that the ranger was going, there's no reason that this is in my head. You know, feel free to put your thoughts and ideas down in the comments below. But if the party was going the same, like, okay, well, we know the ranger may have been going this way, let's go this way, because there's things in a dungeon that are going. We'll see. There are things in a dungeon that's going to give signs that someone went this way. But I want to also say that might be, I don't want to say my veteran status, the fact that I've played Dungeons and Dragons for a little while. So things like that, I'm going to be looking for, as opposed to someone who's just meeting the types of problem solving skills that are needed for things like that in Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know OP's age, and age actually does play a big factor into problem solving skills, because it plays a factor in experience. And since they're saying that this is their first campaign with the experience, they have none. Maybe they are smart enough to figure that out. I'm not saying smart to figure out they have no experience, but I'm looking at, all right, well, we can track this, we can track that. Maybe they can just differentiate certain kinds of tracks. But just the whole thing seems BS-ish to me. Like I said, there's I really feel as though there's no way you went to the final encounter and there's no way the party couldn't follow right behind you and have done the same thing. Especially to be fighting a vampire, because you knew they were sending forward a scout, like the ranger, or you send forward the thief. Just the whole thing, it doesn't sit well with me. Now, I do apologize, as you guys know, I don't have scripts for these. I do these straight off the top of my head, top of my heart, top of what the heck is bothering me at the moment about the stories. And that bothers me because, like I said, I feel like the Dungeon Master was setting them up for failure. And you can't tell me otherwise. Like that bothers me, because it's in my personal opinion, your job as a Dungeon Master to make sure that your crew, your party has fun. It's not you versus them. It's not them versus you. It's everybody coming together to weave a good and memorable story. Excuse me. Sorry. I got a soft spot for goblins anyway. As I'm speaking of goblins, and you see this goblin war machine coming on the screen, I got a soft spot for goblins. And I have a soft spot for goblins because one of my characters, Dakarin, I'm pretty sure I speak about him a lot. For those of you that don't know, he's the guy that ended up getting turned into a demigod. But the first people to worship him were goblins, and that came forth from him. He was making deals with the goblins, being their patron. The goblins thought that this divine being was bestowing powers upon them, and thus they started worshiping him, and that elevated him. We use homebrewed rules, so I got 100 goblins to fully believe and have faith in me, and that elevated my status automatically to, half deity. So goblins will always have a special part in my heart, especially a goblin cleric, because my character Dakarin now has goblin clerics. So, but I do want to wind back. I want to circle back. I want to track back to the wall. It was a climbing thing, yeah, but why couldn't anybody help him, or rather help OP? Because you don't know if it's a him or her. Do the old put your boot in both my hands and I chuck you over, like, just that works. That works. Why couldn't anybody pole vaulted? Like, there's too many things in my personal opinion. And then you're like, oh well, you need to roll a 20 right now. Like, really? Seriously? I need to roll a 20? That's not a trainable skill. And I need to roll a 20 for you to accept that I'm climbing up this thing. Like, just no. Nah. I'm gonna leave that be. But hopefully you guys like the new background. I'll be doing with different parts of it. I'll be posting different parts of this from, I can't say here on out, but for the foreseeable future, I'll be probably taking sections of this and letting you guys see what's going on, as it's different from the usual background motif that I've been using for quite some while. Standard YouTuber jargon, hit a like button, subscribe button, notification button, and the bell, because, well, for one, that lets me know that you guys are liking what I'm putting down. You guys are picking up what I'm putting down, and it also lets me know that you guys are helping me, man, because that's actually letting YouTube know you guys are digging what I'm putting down, and it puts that out there to new audiences. And I will forever and a day continue to say this, because that's what happens. And I read you guys' comments, I respond and reply as much as I can, but I always love the interactions. You guys really are the whole reasons why I continue to do this. I'm not even gonna say I lie to you. I love this. I love reading you guys' stories, and I love your reactions to them. Like, yo, no, that DM was a dickhead for real. Like, no, that shouldn't happen. No, this is why OP was wrong. I love this. So I do want to thank you guys that have been with me for a while, for sticking with me for this long. And anybody that's new, stick around. I get intense with some stuff sometimes. As I said, I don't have a script. Whatever you hear me say is 100%, 1000%, 1,000,000% me. And that is the complete in the moment reaction you have to me when doing these stories. But as always, in the meantime, in between time, because I'm always with these peace signs, I am King Sway. And I will most definitely see you guys in the next one. Later, fellas. Later, ladies. Later, elves. Later, gators. I don't know about no elves, though. Elves are evil. I got shanked by an elf once. Bye.